Hey guys, we gotta talk about Rubuska again, because yesterday her kit released and now, of course, like it always is with new characters, everyone seems to believe she's like hella busted. But I'm here to destroy your dreams. Let's talk about why Rubuska is not as good as everyone makes her out to be or believes she is. That is actually very simple. Like, the issues here are very obvious. What is Rubuska all about? She's all about stacking shadow attire by using her incantations to increase the maximum amount of HP, the critical damage and the ultimate might of all allies, and the fact that whenever an ally is attacked, she heals your entire team, right? Now you should already be able to see what the problems here are. First of all, you are not AP friendly at all, because of the reason that you have to use your incantations in order to stack up the shadow attire, which is like the biggest part of your entire kit. Also, you want to unlock your ultimate really quickly, so you actually have to use your incantations a lot and early. And then this passive heal, which she does whenever one of your allies is attacked, that sounds on the surface pretty broken. And here you might be in belief that she will heal a lot and this makes her AP friendly, but that is not the case. As I said, you still need to use your incantations actively to stack up on shadow attire. That's what she's all about. And she has a passive heal that is actually out of your control. That is not what the Blood Tide team wants at all. You want to have perfect control over the amount that you heal, because you have to play around the 50% HP threshold. Rubuska makes this 100% impossible for you. So that's not good whatsoever. Both of the things that she's all about are actually not good. I'm gonna be honest. And then her ultimate, don't forget, that is not something that does like damage or anything. This is something that makes your main DPS, which is Nautica, scale. That is good, right? That is not a bad thing, but still, it is honestly still a little bit lackluster because of the amount of incantations that you need to use to stack up on the shadow attire. You don't have control over your heal, like the enemies actually have control over how much you heal. And yeah, that is not a good thing, believe me. Like, let me actually show you everything that you lose by not playing around the 50% HP threshold. Here's Semmelweis's Euphoria, and while you're in the blood domain, which you will always 100% of the time be, then all allied characters, they lose the amount of healing taken that they would normally gain. This will be around 25% healing taken lost, okay? That in and of itself is not too much of a big deal, but it gets much worse. For example, here, if you look at Nautica's kit, then you will see that the healing received will actually be further decreased if you are not at 50% HP or below. Now we are talking about roughly a 50% healing taken lost. Here is where it gets a little bit insane, because for every certain amount of HP lost, that is the 50% HP threshold, you would lose damage taken reduction and damage dealt, both by roughly 25% each. If we now look at Eternity, this is where things like seriously get out of control, because if you are not at 50% or below HP, then you would lose a further 25% of damage taken reduction. Plus, it is crazy here, you would lose critical hit rate minus, you would lose, right? critical hit rate by 20% and critical damage by 30%. Because this can stack up to 5 times, right? This is the 50% threshold. You lose critical hit rate by 20% and critical damage by 30%. Plus, when you are not below 50% HP, then the critical hit rate, the excess critical hit rate, is not converted to critical damage anymore. This is all that you lose. Let me repeat that. You lose like an estimate of like 50% plus healing taken. You lose damage taken reduction by over 50%. You lose critical hit rate by 20%. You lose critical damage by 30%. You are less AP friendly, right? And if you like combine all of these things, you know how massive this is? And all of these things count towards your entire team. You really don't want to lose all of this. But you would by using Rubuska instead of Medicine Pocket. Now back to Rubuska. Let's look at and figure out what would we actually gain in return of losing all of these crazy percentages all across the field. Sure, we would increase our max HP. All the damage that Nautica does is based upon her max HP. But you know, again, losing healing taken minus 50%, losing damage taken reduction by like 50%, if not even more, then losing crit rate by 20, losing crit damage by 30, and all of this in exchange for a little bit of max HP. I mean that no matter, right, how high the number here is, it will never be high enough to make up for all of this. Sure, we gain a little bit of crit damage in return. Here it depends, will this actually be 30%? To be honest, unlikely, right? And Ultimate Might also, that doesn't do a whole lot for the Bloodtide team in general. Like, who deals damage with their ultimate? Rubuska herself doesn't. Semmelweis doesn't deal any damage with her Ultimate Might, you know? And Eternity, sure, a little bit, but also this is not what Eternity is about, right? It wouldn't be worth it, is what I'm trying to tell you here. Sure, it is quite good to have for Nautica, but it is overkill. What we really want is crit damage and crit rate. Ultimate is not a big kicker here. So you see, for all the percentages that we lose all across the field by not being able to play around the 50% threshold is gigantic. And Rubuska doesn't make up for this at all. If you compare her even to Medicine Pocket, as I said, she's also way less AP friendly. Because again, you have to use your incantations actively to stack up on Shadow Attire. And what do your incantations actually do? Also, not very much. Here, yeah, okay, you fill the Bloodtide here a little bit. Depends on how much damage this will do. This damage will not be completely outrageous. And even if it is, right, let's say this does like 500% reality damage, yeah. I mean, sure, so what? You still lose all of these percentages. It's not going to be worth it no matter how high the numbers are here. This would need to be like 1000%, you know, and it's not going to be that, right? Let's be real. And then your second incantation, all it does is it heals, you know? I mean, this character comes with way too many issues and is way too lackluster, all things considered. If we talk about the Bloodtide team, now let's take a look at, do we have to play her in the Bloodtide team actually? And the answer is yes, we absolutely need to, because the amount of Bloodtide that she provides to the team is way too massive to give it up. The fact that she, for example, right, she doesn't even increase critical rate, it's critical damage. So you need to have her in a team already that crits a lot. Otherwise, this crit damage increase goes to shit. Ultimate Might, to be fair, that is good for every single character in this game. Pretty much every main DPS character profits from this Ultimate Might, so we cool here. But then, this max HP that she increases, no one really profits from this other than Nautica, right? So this would also go completely to waste. You waste max HP increase, you probably gonna waste critical damage like all together. Of course, everyone profits a little bit from crit damage, but again, like, you would have to crit in the first place to make this worth it. And yeah, that is you can't rely on this, right? And then ultimate might is also like kind of whatever. So you would waste all the blood tide that you fill. You would waste the maximum HP, because no one else other than Nautica profits from this. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna heal, right? And you don't heal AP friendly. Yeah, I mean, what you could do is you could just not give a fuck about this shadow attire, right? This max HP, crit damage, ultimate might, and using her ultimate and stuff. You could like not look at all of this and just use her as a heal bot that heals your entire team whenever an ally in fact is attacked. If you want to use her for that, I mean, up to you, but that is a complete waste of your Unilogs. What you also have to keep in mind, that Rubuska is released after we had a quadrazillion pulls on the 2nd anniversary, which make us go broke. In version 3.0, you will have to at least pull for Sharon. That's a must pull. There goes your Unilogs. You will probably want to obtain yourself either Centurion or Getian, depending on who you don't have of those, right? Another Unilogs wasted. And after all of this, you wanna pull for Electrastar heal bot that is not AP friendly and not that great even, and kind of honestly even hurts the blood tide team because you don't have control over your healing. I mean, up to you guys. I think this character is pretty bad, honestly. Now let's take a look at something really awesome. I absolutely love this, but this might just be a me thing, because the blood tide team is by far my favorite team in this game. I adore and love the playstyle. Even with Semmelweis's HP loss team, that was already my favorite team in the game, right? So I love it. I love to play this. And with the addition of Rubuska, it opens up the door to actually build 2 blood tide teams if we really wanted to. How would we do this? You see the true best in slot blood tide team right here with Nautica, Semmelweis, Sentinel and Medicine Pocket. Now what we can do is we can play Nautica and Semmelweis together with Flutterpage and Fatutu. This would lead to Medicine Pocket and Sentinel now being free, and we can use Eternity with her Euphoria number 2 as the main DPS, have Rubuska as our sustain, use Sentinel then together with Eternity, and put in Medicine Pocket as well. We will have now here a roster that with Eternity, Euphoria number 2 and Sentinel will deal enough damage, no problem whatsoever. Then with Rubuska and Medicine Pocket in the same team, this is gonna be 100% completely unkillable. It is impossible to die with this team, no matter whatever content you might face. And in this team, since Sentinel and Medicine Pocket are perfectly AP friendly, with like, you know, they pretty much don't ever need to use any incantation actively whatsoever. This negates the problem of Rubuska actually being AP heavy, right? Because the only character in this team here that uses up AP is Eternity. That leaves AP up on the table to use for Rubuska. So absolutely perfect. Yeah, of course, you would hurt the Nautica lineup a little bit, right? It would not be the best in slot anymore, but it doesn't really matter, because with Flutterpage and Fatutu, like, you don't go wrong here. Nautica will still deal more than enough damage to like carry you through everything easily. And also with all of this healing taken increase and the damage taken reduction, and stuff. This team, and then of course adding Fatutu into this mix, this team is also pretty much invincible. And that is actually, like, at least for me, because I love and adore the playstyle of these blood type teams, that is actually a very, very tempting thing to do for me. Then I would need to invest into Sentinel and Rubuska though. That will be very, very expensive. But I'm actually a little bit tempted to do this. This is the best usage for Rubuska, actually, because in the actual blood type team here, putting her in replacement of Medicine Pocket, that is not gonna be worth it. Like that really, her kit tells you this. Glaringly obvious, right? I explained exactly why that is. So if you really want to make use of this character Rubuska, then build 2 blood type teams, right? That is truly what makes this character worthwhile, you know? But yeah, that is it for the video, guys. I hope this was fun and informative. Not sorry if I crushed your dreams of this character being like busted, broken, new meta. She's not, right? But here I showed you like the best usage for her, because if you only build 1 blood type team, it is not worth it, your Unilocks, right? After the 2nd anniversary, after 3.0, trust me, it's not gonna be worth it at all to pull for her, unless you wanna go this route right here that is on your screen. This is also, by the way, the reason why they put Eternity into the Euphoria banner in version 3.1, so that if you skipped Eternity for Sentinel and delayed your blood type team usage until version 3.0, if you did go that route, then you wouldn't be able to build 2 blood type teams in version 3.1. That is why they give you Eternity here one more time in the Euphoria banner. This is not a coincidence that the developers actually thought this through. You know, just saying. But that's it for the video, guys. I hope this was fun and informative. If you like Reverse 1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, don't forget to join the Discord server, and we love this game.